welcome to the show.
Yes, excited to have another. Much like you, last week felt like we had a really good show on deck. I feel like this week we got another really good one, and I may be jinxing things because it's
Nah.
rare we have back-to-back good shows. But I'm thinking we got another good one on tap tonight. So thanks to everyone joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Comment wherever, because we have a listener's court that I came upon this weekend that was the most awkward thing I've ever seen at Disney. And I've been at
Okay.
Disney a lot. So we'll get to that here at some point.
Absolutely. And you can always call us at 707-4-MONKEY. That's 707-466-6539. Okay. Big news this week in politics as Elon Musk, he telegraphed that he was only going to be working in Washington for a short amount of time. And he decided this was the week to walk out. Very unusual White House meeting with the president. Very awkward. The whole thing was just really weird.
Yeah, this was his last Friday when he's just like, I'm stepping away. I've done my stuff with Doge. And he got like a golden key from Willy Wonka, the president. I don't know if he then gets to see what goes on, in the Oval Office some other time. Not quite sure, but that was an actual, what you're seeing on screen, that picture is an actual screen grab from that particular exchange at the Oval Office this past Friday. And it's a far cry from the man who is jumping on stage 2 inches off the ground, excited to be a part of the whole thing. I mean, think about that. That's like in 6 months. That was just October of this past year. And now he looks like this.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. He seems like a deflated person, and then he puts out this tweet on Twitter, which is now called X, but we all call it Twitter, saying, I can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. He's referring to the president's big, beautiful bill. Shame on you for those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. And I just want to take us back a couple of months as we made, admittedly, not a bold prediction, but a prediction nonetheless that at some point, if you're friends with Donald Trump, you just stop being friends with Donald Trump. It doesn't take much for it to happen. I don't know what makes Elon think that Trump will always be his best friend. He won't. We know this. Or vice versa.
What about Michael Cohen or
right? That's what I mean.
Rudy Giuliani or Mike Pence or John Bolton or stop me when I'm
I mean, it is just look at the graveyard, just littered with people that Trump has thrown away, and the other way is true. I mean, if Elon may get something up his butt and decide he hates Donald Trump all of a sudden, and I mean, it's just that's the way this soap opera always plays out.
We're the Nostradamuses of the internet. It played out exactly as we called it. Especially you, that take at the end of like, well, we know the Trump thing goes by the wayside, but who's to say that Elon doesn't vacillate? And now we have it on both sides of the equation.
Mm-hmm. And you just know it's going to happen with other people. Who's the press secretary with she's always got the big rapper cross on?
Levitt, Catherine Levitt.
Caroline Levitt. Or his chief of staff, or there are going to be more people who will walk out the door and go, holy crap, that was weird. I don't know what I was thinking. Or he's going to kick somebody to the curb. I mean, it's just the way it happens, and it's going to happen again.
Comment below on this video or comment right now. Who's the next one to have the riff? I'm thinking Lutnick's gone. I'm thinking Lutnick, the doof with the tariffs. I think once that thing goes awry and people start really getting, I think Lutnick's going to be out the door. Lutnick or Bessent?
Yeah, Bessent. That's the one that feels like it to me because he's kind of taken the heat. I don't know. It's going to be.
You know who else may be a dark horse in that one?
Hegseth.
Bongino. Did you see the interview Bongino did at Fox and Friends where he looked so depressed of like, I gave up everything and he slipped out like we're divorced. I mean, separated. It's just like, yeesh, not what I was expecting.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, there's a Hegseth. I mean, there's a number of people who
Oh
could
God,
be
yeah.
teetering on the edge there, and it's like the guy, hate the guy, whatever. That's just the way this plays out.
Same thing with Elon. He doesn't have a lot of close friends, so you knew that was going to happen from the
Right,
start. So,
right.
but looking back, we were right on something. Uh, Speaking of, I don't know if there was a right way to handle this particular situation. And comment wherever you're watching, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, or call the old monkey line. This past weekend did a staycation on Disney property. All right, 7074 Monkey is a phone number. So let me just set the scene for you, and then see if I reacted the correct way or incorrectly or whatever. Okay.
Hmm.
So we're at the resort pool. It was just going to be a resort stay. We were staying with some friends. The particular resort had a lot of places to enjoy a beverage, so we're just going to kind of start the day at the pool and kind of go around and bar hop and not have to drive because we have the hotel room right there on the resort.
Brilliant.
So at most Disney pools, they have a water slide. Okay, can be for everybody, not just kids, and it's not a lengthy one, but it's thrilling enough, and it's a way for you to kind of break up the monotony of just floating around or just lounging by the pool. So I decide to get in line for the water slide, me and one of my friends. So as we come around the corner, there is a line already forming. Okay. Now I had assumed there was a child who I will say probably about 4 and had a floaty around his waist that he was wearing to get in line. And he was attempting to get by a child who was probably about 9. I assumed they were related.
Hmm.
Okay. And I just thought it was big brother telling little brother, you can't cut. All right. And this 9-year-old was getting very vehement of like putting his arms out, like doing the no cuts, no butts, no coconuts thing. In front of in front of them is an adult male holding another child. So I thought they were all together. I
Reasonable.
That's just what I assumed. Come to find out that this back and forth between 9 and 4-year-old had been going on for longer than I had been in the line. And dad in front of 9-year-old was not the father of either kid involved. And in fact, 4-year-old on inner tube was trying to get up closer to 6-year-old brother, who was like third in line. So brother had sprinted. 4-year-old brother was a little bit like couldn't catch up. And 9-year-old was like, I'm going to be the guardian of the line. No one shall pass, as if
Oh
he's
yeah.
fucking Gandalf.
No, this is a racketeering case. Go ahead.
Okay. So the father who's holding another young son finally has enough. He's the one in front of the 9-year-old. He finally has enough of the 9-year-old badgering the 4-year-old in the inner tube and says, "Bro, he's just trying to get to his brother.
Hmm.
It's not that big. It's one person. It's going to be all good."
Did the
And
brother? Do we think the brother cut in line?
the 6-year-old,
Yeah.
no, I think the brother just got in line quicker, and the 4-year-old was too slow because he had his
Okay.
floaty on and everything else.
Okay.
So he's
Gotcha.
stuck behind. He's stuck behind all these people, right? And so finally, the dad's just like, "Hey, bro, like, because the kid's getting a little like, no, no, it's like it's not your brother. You're being a little over the top, man." And so the dad finally goes, "Hey, he just wants to be by his brother. Let's let him go. Let's let him go. Just." And
Right.
so because the 4-year-old is crying at this point because he's away from his brother, and this
Yeah.
9-year-old is blocking him. So the dad says go. So the 4-year-old runs up to his brother, super excited, right? Because the adult has spoken in the line. There's 2 other adults ahead of him. It's at that point, I shit you not, Johnny. It's at that point the 9-year-old looks around and then leans on the railing and starts crocodile tearing. He's leaning over, and everyone just kind of goes, what WTF,
Yeah.
right?
That boy,
And
that is
so,
a 9-year-old ploy too. You got to be
and
9
it's
to figure that out.
and it's like, okay, and then no one comforts him because
Hmm.
his actual parent isn't in the line. So he's crying, or quote unquote crying.
Yep.
And the rest of us I look at my buddy, I go, what's going on here? Two dads in front of the dad holding the kid who let the 4-year-old go are kind of looking at the kid strange. And every once in a while, he stays in line and he continues to move up, but every step he looks and then cries some more. And two of the dads go, I overhear him go, gonna be a long life for that kid. Like just and me and my buddy are just like, okay. And he just continues to like wait for someone to comfort him that isn't his parent.
Right.
Like we're all gonna revolt and take his side.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
actually at one point turns and like stops for a second and then goes, that guy is such a jerk. And it's like,
I need an adult.
right, exactly. And no adult agrees with him. So, and my buddy's like, we haven't gotten the pool yet. He's like, is it okay if I go down the water? I'm like, yeah, they have water going down there. Plus crocodile tears will be down there before we get down there. He finally gets, and so at one point he's there crying, and so a couple of people go down the slide while he's still boo-hooing.
Mm-hmm.
Then an 8-year-old girl who's behind him, who had said hi to her friends when they first came in line, and they started to try to walk up the waterside like line, and she goes, no, you need to be in the back. And so she then cuts this kid because he's just there whining and she just wants to go down the water slide. He finally gets to his he sticks it out and he does not give up. He cries every step of the way to the point where he gets in the water slide and crosses his legs, the light turns green, and he just goes, and then goes down the water slide. And you can see him from above just being like, he has his arms crossed, he's cross-legged, and he's just like, the entire time down the water slide.
He's committed to the
And
bit, man.
I could not believe what I saw.
That is
And I was
commitment
like,
to the bit.
did I handle this okay of not acknowledging him ever?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, because
he was the
acknowledging
jerk
it would have
and the
meant that he
idiot
would
and
have
not
done
me.
it at 7 other rides as well.
Yeah, it was just bizarre. Like it was the most awkward thing because no parent ever came running.
Yeah.
No other adult comforted them. We all just kind of pointed and snickered of like, what is going on with this kid? And in fact, the next time I went up the slide, the same 8-year-old was in front of me, and I was like, I hope the crying kid's not in line this time. She's like, that was weird. Like she was just like, that was weird.
Yeah, no, but I
So
commend the kid. That's like Andy Kaufman level commitment to a bit.
yeah, and then we looked around for him. 2 seconds later, he was with the activity director in a conga line. He had a maraca, and they're doing a whole thing around the pool. And I turned to my wife. I go, should I cut in front of him in the maraca line just to see how he reacts? And he got to us, and he saw my face, and he immediately went back to crying as if I still bought that he was sad. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
That so yeah, no, I think you did the right thing. I mean, yeah, if you know that it's all a ruse, you can't.
Right, that was just the thing. Like
you can't encourage that.
No, but it's like no parent came looking for him, no nothing. But to his credit, he continued to try to make us buy into that guy was a jerk for letting a 4-year-old ride a water slide right after his brother. It's like, come on.
That reminds me, next week when we do It Wasn't Better Back Then, we'll have to do a breakdown of The Honk.
Oh, yeah. Yes. The honk.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So that's just a little preview of what you'll get next week. But right now, a good Hell Hath No Fury Like a Woman Scorned story. We've got a woman in China who found out that her boyfriend was cheating on her.
No.
And she was devastated. So She said after breaking up, she was miserable, cried for 3 days. He continued to enjoy life without a trace of sadness or remorse. Finding this unfair, she decided to give him a taste of his own medicine via
And
a
send that
ton.
9-year-old kid.
Yeah, exactly.
No, no, just kidding.
Exactly. Um, so she sent a ton of onions and dumped it on his doorstep, saying, "Hey, I was crying for 3 days. Now you have to cry. Here are some onions."
Doesn't he
Doesn't
have to
work like
chop
that.
them?
Doesn't work like that.
No, okay. I wasn't making sure. I don't like onions, so I don't really chop them very often. But I thought the key thing was the chopping part, not just an onion being in your presence.
Well, it turns out this bastard got the better of her. He turned around, went down to the farmer's market, and sold the onions and made $200.
No, talk about your all-time backfires. By the
Mm-hmm.
way, how much does a that much onion cost?
Well, when your heart is broken, no
It doesn't
price
matter.
is, yeah, it doesn't matter. And so there you see the delivery guy on the left getting the onions off of the truck, and his boyfriend, the boyfriend coming home going, "I don't know these are onions. I don't get it."
By the way, good on him to immediately go, all right, that's fine. I have an idea. I'm going to make some money off this.
Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and sell these onions.
but you're right.
Well played.
Onions just hanging there doing nothing are not going to make anybody cry.
Okay, just to make sure.
Mhm.
I wasn't quite sure about this. This may make someone cry out of fear. This next story. God, can you imagine just for a
No.
moment being in a dead sleep and waking up with someone licking your foot? Because that's what happened here for this Modesto man who's accused of breaking into a woman's house, then biting and licking her toes
Oh God.
while she slept. Christian Alejandro Solerio Anguiano, boy, that's a lot going on
Hmm.
there, allegedly had been stalking the woman at her job in February. Though other employees at the business confronted him on multiple occasions, investigators said his behavior escalated to the point that he would follow her home after her shifts and sleep in his car outside her residence. So this guy was committed to the bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's go to Channel 13 in
okay.
Modesto, just because it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not it. You've got more detail than the reporters here have, but just the setup from the local anchor who has to introduce this story.
Got a strange one for you tonight out of Modesto. The Stanislaus County Sheriff says they've arrested a man last week after he allegedly broke into a woman's home at night, then bit and licked her toes while she slept.
That's
Good
the
on him for accentuating the correct word there.
right. And that's the face of somebody who has to say bit and licked her toes on live television.
It looks like he wasn't
Give some
sure about
context.
that.
The sheriff's office says the man arrested, seen here, 27-year-old Christian Anguiano, had been stalking the woman for months, following her home from work several times. Despite a number of people confronting him, deputies say he just wouldn't stop. Would even sleep in the car outside her home. Woman is okay. Anguiano, though, suspects being held on a $325,000.
No, everything's not okay.
No, the woman is okay. No, she's not okay. That guy bit and licked her
Yeah,
toes
that's
while
awful.
she slept. And why is there a bond for this guy, by the way? Why are we even letting him back out into society? If his idea is a good time is to break into someone's house and then go, I gotta bite and lick those toes. No, 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 on those piggies.
We talked
No,
about it
that's
last
not what you
week
want
that
in society. Yeah.
yeah, there are times when due process just needs to go out the window.
And it's this guy right here. Does she have to move, by the way? Can you, or at
Oh,
least I
yeah. How
imagine,
do you sleep in
yeah,
that bed?
right. That's what I'm saying. Or at least get a new bed.
Yeah. No, I don't think you can be in that. That would be absolute trauma for the rest of your life. Just the idea that you're going back to you couldn't sleep. You couldn't sleep.
No, you can't. To know that the next thing you may wake up to is toe biting and licking.
Uh-huh.
It's just like that's the worst. That could be the worst way possible to wake up. That's horror movie like stuff right there. Of just wake from a dead sleep, feeling something on your foot, and just a random ass stranger just gnawing away at your toes, licking in between. It's like, no,
No.
no,
Yeah,
can't do
that'll
that.
mess you up for the rest of your life. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
And maybe we just have too much ready access to porn. Perhaps that's the issue here. As it stands right now, some 19 states here in America have blocked access to
Right here in
Pornhub
Florida.
and other sites. Florida being one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to make sure you verify your age and instead of just clicking that I'm okay to enter thing, you actually have to verify your age more than just like, yeah, I'm over 18 to see the
Yeah.
boobs.
Because every 12-year-old boy is going to go, of course I'm old enough to look at this.
But in France,
Pornhub has just said, you know what, we can't do business in France, and so
which is ironic that someone's surrendering to France.
Yes. So now instead of porn, the company will only display a statement on France's new regulations that require porn sites to verify users are 18 or older. They have until June 7th to implement this rigorous new age verification standard, which sounds like, I mean, the whole thing about porn is it's anonymous. Even back when it was buying dirty magazines, you'd have to buy other things in the store to kind of bookend what you were buying.
Yeah, you'd have to be like, I need a pack of gum, a 6-pack of Squirt, pardon the pun, and then that magazine.
But here's what was fascinating to me. France is the second largest user of Pornhub behind the United States.
Get out of here. I didn't know they were so freaky.
Well, and think about this. I mean, France doesn't even have 70 million people living there. It's like 65 million or something. We are a country of 330 million. So in order to come into number 2,
that's a lot
everybody in France has to be using Pornhub. Everybody.
I do not see what the big deal is. It's artiste. I sit here and I smoke my cigarettes after work with my croissant and my Pornhub.
The porn industry has called the French government's measure potentially privacy infringing and ineffective. It's unacceptable to lie when you don't want to respect the law. If ALO would rather leave France than apply to our law, they are free to do so.
Are they applying that law because they're number 2? They're like, whoa. The math's not adding up. That's too much porn. We need to throttle it back, France.
Yeah. Well, they're saying that close to 2.3, they are estimating 2.3 million minors are accessing porn every month in the country of France. About 12% of the porn users, which it has to be. In other words, how do you catch up to the United States in porn consumption?
So wait, so the minors is just 12%. So there's 88% of French adults are making up that much viewing that they're number 2.
That's what I'm talking about.
To America.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
That's a lot of horny.
That's a lot of Eiffel Towering going on. Let's just say right there.
And the company that owns Pornhub, AYLO, AYLO, is like this mega conglomerate company over Brazzers, Pornhub, RedTube, YouPorn, Tube8, XTube, Digital Playground, Men.com, Mofos, Naka2, Reality King, Sean Cody, Twisties, and Why Not Buy. There's your watching list for the night, by the way.
How many sites do you need?
Right.
Like they have it. Shouldn't it just all filter into one? But I guess, cornered. I guess, as the saying goes, different strokes for different folks.
But just the numbers were, and I learned something interesting because you think, oh my gosh, the last thing you want to do if you want to watch porn is to hand over your driver's license and your ID. I guess what they do is some sort of double-blind authentication where this other company confirms that you're of age, Pornhub never gets your name, and the company that confirms you're of age doesn't know why you're confirming you're of age. So they supposedly are
Okay.
keeping that separate. But I think, we remember years ago when the Ashley Madison leak happened,
Yes.
and
It's yeah.
many, many people who thought that their identification was private was like, oops.
It's like the people who used to go to the adult bookstores parking in back thinking no one else would ever go in there.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, Mr. Regal? I didn't know you were here too. Ah, son of a, but now I got to find a different store.
All right. Moving on from if you're getting yourself all cranked up, please use protection.
Oh, I love this. This is fantastic. This is a museum in the Netherlands, and they have found this condom from 1830 is when they date this condom back to. But as you can see, there is something etched on the condom, which is why they believe that this wasn't an actual prophylactic, but instead a souvenir from a high end brothel. So I guess they had a gift shop you would visit on the way out to
Yeah.
make sure,
And
and then
instead
you
of a
pass it on like a
t-shirt.
business card. Yeah, exactly. Instead of a T-shirt, you get a wiener covering that has a wonderful piece of art put upon it. They did some UV testing and revealed that this particular condom hadn't been used, which is why they think it was just a souvenir.
All right.
By the way, they say it was made from a sheep's bladder, is what they believe that this condom would have been made from. And they take it back; it would be the appendix of a sheep or goat.
The
And the way they
appendix.
would, yeah, the appendix of a sheep or a goat,
I guess it's kind of
and
wiener shaped.
a little
Ding, ding, ding,
hookage
ding.
going on there.
Yeah.
Um, and then they would stretch that out, and then there was an artist in 1830 whose job it was to make body pictures for super like if you can remember the Funny Side Up catalog when you were
Yeah.
a kid back in the 80s and 90s. That's what this is the 1830s equivalent of hey, check it, this is like the pen that when you would click the woman's clothes would go away. It's like
Mm-hmm.
hey, check out this condom's got some baudy stuff on it.
Yeah. And you probably can't see it, and I don't know that we can zoom in close
No, we
enough
can't.
to
We
get it.
can't.
But
We
so
can't.
we had to censor what's on there. I don't know if it's obvious what's going on in there. I think we tried to hide it as best we could.
That's
Uh,
great. Yeah, I had no idea. I have no idea what's going on in that photo whatsoever. I mean, that's just a woman in a
what is,
bikini.
is that a nun?
Look, yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. It it's a nun and three clergymen. And the
Why is that?
inscription
Why is that enticing?
because it's bawdy, Johnny. It's 1830. It's forbidden love.
Okay.
Um, they went on to say there's also an etching in there, "Voilà mon choix," meaning this is my choice.
Ah.
So it makes the print a parody of both celibacy and the Judgment of Paris from Greek mythology. So, ta-da! Look at that.
I mean, haven't you already looked at the dirty pictures by the time you get the condom on? It seems like it's backwards here.
Well, just in case, right? In the interim or whatever, you need to look down and figure out why you're doing what you're doing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You got that to look at and go,
Oh,
oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. That's what's supposed to be transpiring in this particular situation.
I see. Okay, it's an owner's manual. You got to
Now,
look at the
just
instructions.
yeah. By the way, can you imagine just for a moment the etching and craftsmanship that would have to go in on that? And it's like, was someone wearing it at the time? I know it's not fully used, but boy, is someone having to wear it, and then you're like, wait, no, 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 haven't finished the third guy's red lever. I got to make sure I finish that up real quick, and then ship it to the high end brothel.
Well, and what does it say? So it's early 1800s, and you think of this as being a very Victorian time, a very proper time, and it's like, man, no, we were as horny as ever, and we
Yes,
we would we would put on a goat appendix just to get some and not get a woman pregnant.
By
That's
the way,
that's how cranked up people were in 1830. Was they were willing to stretch a goat appendix over their dick.
correct, because they didn't have TV or anything like that. And then on the way out, they wanted a nice memento of wearing that goat appendix on their penis and having a little wah, wah, and they're like, you know what? I need this as a nice memento. This is a conversation piece. This is a conversation starter. The museum in question, by the way, acquired this particular condom at auction 6 months ago. First example of print on a condom to be part of the museum's collection. The museum will have it there until the end of November as part of an exhibit on 19th century prostitution and sexuality.
Going to the
That's the
brothel,
best
you want me
part.
to bring you a souvenir?
Yeah, you know what? Bring me one of those nuns picking out a penis condom. Can you get me one of those? I've heard that guy does great work. I don't want the other ones. I want the very specific nun picking out a dick one.
Yeah.
I don't
You.
want those other. What would be the other ones? I wonder that they had on there.
Right.
It's like Shakespeare picking out some. I'm not quite sure. So
Yeah, that's the question. Does it get worse from here, or was it more innocent from here? I don't know.
exactly. Is that the most tame one, or is that the weirdest one you could have found in the gift shop and said, "Oh, my buddy Bartholomew's got to have this. He's gonna love this joke. That's fantastic."
Amazing.
Yes, yes. Fly
Hey,
over
it's
to the
time for
Netherlands.
one of our newer features here on Mike and Molson Mangle the News. And for those of you watching live, we're going to explain what this is. But when this then gets re-uploaded to YouTube in a shorter segment, the explanation won't be there. Because, my friends, we are doing it for the clicks.
Doing it for the clicks. Turn the dial and get your fix. Every scoop is hot and thick. Oh yeah, we're doing it for the clicks.
Break it down. All right.
So we present to you a story that that we believe will get clicks, and it's what we need. We need clicks. Whether we care
do,
about
so
the
please
story or not is irrelevant.
Correct. That's the internet anymore. Just doing it for the clicks. We're doing it all wrong. Most of these stories we care about. This one we don't, which is why we're doing it for the clicks.
The state of Montana has decreed that the only flags that can appear over government buildings are the United States, the Montana state flag, or the local city flag. Nothing else. And I think we know why they said that. Because
Well, let me ask you
other
this.
flags show up.
Right. I feel like, and I may be wrong before we get to the crux of the story, is the Montana state flag just a tumbleweed rolling across a white background?
And so the city of Missoula, which was kind of the reason this came up, said, oh, okay, well, then we'll change our city flag to be the gay pride flag. This is
Good on you,
now,
Missoula.
yeah, this is now the city flag of Missoula, so they can legitimately say, we can put up the gay pride flag because it is now, we have determined this is now our city flag, and the governor can't do anything about it.
That's great.
I think that's great too.
That's the loophole.
Yeah.
I love every part of the Missoula City Council saying, all right, screw you. This is going to be this is the city flag now, and deal with it, governor. See what you're going to try to take down our city flag. This is our city flag. We got pride in our city.
The city attorney for the city of Missoula verified that the pride flag is the only official flag of the city of Missoula. Currently, there is only one flag for our city, and that is the pride flag adopted last night. A ward older person noted over email that the city has the ability to adopt other flags whenever the hell they want to.
Nice.
But the resolution that was in the State House in Montana prohibits flags on state property, including public schools, that represent, quote, a political viewpoint. Because, you know, being gay is a political viewpoint. It's not just how people live their lives.
Yes, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's a very big hot button political issue. Is the way you live the way you live your life.
The bill does carve out a few exclusions, one being the "Don't Tread on Me" flag.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
that one's okay.
and one person who said, this is an abomination, actually has one of those police thin blue line flags on his
American flag.
on his computer, but said, that's different.
I love the fact I understand there's like 14 people that live in Montana, but I love the fact that they feel they have to take it upon themselves to be like, everything else in Montana is fantastic. The biggest issue in this state is we need to legislate what flags can be on a flagpole.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
go to the
monkey phone's
monkey
ringing.
phone here. Monkey phone is ringing at 707 for Monkey. You're always invited to call in. Hello, you are on with Mike and Molson. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm trying this off the top.
Okay. This is our
Okay.
poet laureate, by the way. Poet laureate chimes in with a limerick that usually has something to do with what we're talking about. Let's see if it does.
Okay. We must be all 6. And I think you guys are dicks. It really makes me gag when you hang a gay flag. Just doing it for the click.
All right, there we go. Thank you very much, Poet Laureate. That was incredible.
Right off the top of his head, too.
Yeah, no, that was...
Boom. Extemporaneous limericking.
He's just
that's a
riffing.
skill.
He's just riffing.
Yeah, he's just riffing. He's helping us do it for the clicks, though. That'll just be the clip. We'll just put that on a YouTube short and see what people have to say.
Here is a statement from the Montana governor, who I assume talks like this. Last night, 9 members of the Missoula City Council made clear their top priority is flying a divisive pride flag over government buildings and schools, all while ignoring the city's housing affordability crisis, raising taxes, and refusing to take firm action to end encampments in the city.
I was thinking more Yosemite Sam, like, they're going to be the rootin'est, shootin'est, tootin'est. Boy, I find it real rich that guy goes on and saying, oh, the affordable housing and blah, 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 blah. But yet he's the guy that thought it'd be a good idea in state government to worry about flags on a flagpole.
Right. Yeah, he's shocked that that people are talking about flags when he made it a point himself. You're absolutely right about that.
Idiots.
And so that's
God,
that's the excitement in Montana.
Can we put all those dopey states all together and just make them one? Like, does Wyoming, Montana, the Dakotas, do they all have to exist? We got too many freaking states. Just put them together into Dopeville or something. I don't know.
No, I mean, there's plenty of states that, Wyoming, Montana, North and South Dakota, they're all pretty empty, and I think they can just glom together and be one, because it's too many states. We have too many states.
We do. You do. And that'll be next week's Doing It for the Clicks.
That's our hot take. And the only reason that we did this topic is for the clicks.
Every scoop is hot and thick. Oh yeah, we're doing it for the clicks.
Yes. Please take that song and make it a TikTok dance for us.
That'd be great.
That'll get us clicks too. Yeah. We got to come up with a dance to do that. So
I agree. Sorry, my phone's ringing. I tried
that.
to stop it. So that's it. We're doing it for the clicks. Do we really care about that story? Nah, it's Montana.
I mean, I give Montana, Missoula credit, but overall, it's obviously just, we're doing it for the clicks.
We're doing it for the clicks. All right.
Yes.
Moving on now.
That's a catchy song, doing it for the clicks, which leads to these songs. Yeah. I found this from the Independent, as you can see. We're not going to go through all 23, but these are pretty bad lyrics. All right. We'll give you the lyric. You can find this. We'll maybe link the article, but we'll go through each of them and talk about the artists and kind of give our opinion on why it's such an embarrassing, terrible lyric. All right. So we'll start with a guy that has a terrible Christmas song.
Mhm.
Cherry Cherry Christmas is god awful. One of the worst songs ever. And here is good old Neil Diamond with his lyric to I Am I Said. And it makes no effing sense whatsoever. As you can see on your screen, the lyric goes, I am I said to no one there, and no one heard at all, not even the chair. What does that mean?
And there's like the seed of something in there, of somebody being alone and saying, "But I exist and I'm here," which I think is what he's getting at. But he just peters out there and said, "Nobody heard me, not even the chair, not
Not
even
even
the
the
chair."
apparently, humorist Dave Barry famously had this to say about that line, saying, maybe he expected the chair to say, whoa, I heard that. My guess is that Neil was really desperate to come up with something to rhyme with there, and he already rejected, so I ate a pear, like Smokey the Bear, and there were nits in my hair. So he went with not even the chair.
Right.
So
That's what we ended
yeah,
up with.
that's a pretty terrible one.
I would
Next
say
up
our
on
poet laureate could have done better than that.
yes, big time. He just showed you he could have.
Absolutely.
He rhymed clicks and dicks. I mean, he's doing a pretty good job. Which will lead us right into our next one, Iggy Azalea. This one was one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
This comes this comes from one of her songs called "Down South," and the lyric is thusly, if we have it. Yep, there it is. Said he want to blow fish, I'm Hootie. Follow my legs to my booty.
Said he wanted to blow fish. I'm Hootie.
Yeah, like
Follow
Hootie
my
the
legs
Blowfish.
to my booty.
But I think she gets a little confused there, right? If he wants to blow fish, why you found the legs to the booty?
Did
You know what
he
I'm
want
saying?
to blow fish?
Then
Or is the comma in the wrong place? Said he want to blow fish. Well, I'm Hootie. Follow
no.
my legs. Does that fix it? That
No,
doesn't
no, no,
fix
no,
it,
no,
does it?
no. No, no. Said he want to blow fish, I'm Hootie. Follow my legs to my booty. That still doesn't make it better. If let me just say this.
Yeah.
If 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 you first of all, I don't know anyone who's ever said I want to blow fish.
No.
First of all, in the heat of passion, I don't know if I want to say, "Ooh, I want to blow fish."
Mm-hmm.
But if a girl were to say, "Follow my legs to my booty," I don't know how sexy that is either. I mean, I
No,
know she's trying to be sexy. The song's called "Down South," but I'm not quite sure that it's achieving what she would like it to in that point.
well, I think invoking Hootie is a boner killer.
Correct. Because they just want to hold your hand. And when you're trying to get a boner, the last thing you're talking about is holding hands.
Getting all romantic with a girl, and she says, "Let's turn on some Hootie and the Blowfish," and suddenly you're just not on the mood anymore, are you?
No, that is a mood. You're right. That is a mood killer.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great point. Of if you're like, remember last week we talked about the sex DJs?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they ever start, sometimes I wonder will it ever end. I don't think I Only Want to Be With You
No.
is really getting people raging and going. Or
No.
Let Her Cry. Can you imagine trying to do it to Let Her Cry as the tears fall down like rain?
Yeah. No. There's nothing. There's nothing there.
Yeah. No, that's pretty terrible. I believe the next
We
one
got
we have
Train
is
up
it.
next. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This lyric makes my wife dry heave because the visual is unnecessary.
The first time I heard the song, in fact, I probably played it when it was new. Um, this line jumped out at me, and I went, "What is that? What is that doing in this song?"
You have to ask yourself why. It's from Hey Soul Sister, which I can't stand Train to begin with, but it's a very generic Hootie-esque song. And you can see the lyrics. I'm so obsessed. My heart is bound to beat right out my untrimmed chest. Why are we invoking your hairy ass chest in a pseudo love song?
Right. And do you say that? Do you say that to somebody that you're trying to get down with?
Oh, I didn't think about that. Of if this is a ode, like you're writing a love poem,
Mm-hmm.
and you say, I'm so obsessed, my heart is about to bound out of my untrimmed chest. I don't think that, once again, like Iggy, I don't think that's doing what you think it's doing there, Mr. Guy from
Right.
Train, whose name escapes me.
Um,
Sean something or whatever, I think. I can't remember.
I can't remember. I had it just
Yeah.
a second ago. But yeah, because I think women who hear that just go, eh,
Sean
eh,
Monahan.
eh,
Sean Monahan.
they're just doing the thing with it. Yeah.
Right. That's what my wife just drive heaves instead of just gross. No thank you on that, Mr. Train. Sean
Understandable.
Monahan. Yeah. As we continue on, the next one is a classic as we go through these embarrassing lyrics. This one is an all timer, and it comes from a band that everyone knows, but no one knows any of their songs. I'm convinced of it, except for this line from the one song Miracles. If you would please reveal ICP there, Violent J, and Shaggy Two Dope. How do I know them right off the bat? But I forgot who the hell Train's lead singer was.
Sean Monahan.
I couldn't pull Train Monahan, but I knew exactly. Oh, there's Violent J and Shaggy Two Dope. And it comes from the song Miracles, and the actual lyric you see on the screen is in that song. Effing magnets, how do they work?
How do they work?
How do they work?
Yeah.
I don't know. Polarity, science.
Well, and then they had to rhyme something with magnets.
Right. And they just said dragnets, I think, probably. Turns out they're not actually interested in the answer. I don't want to talk to a scientist. That's what they said. You're all lying, getting me mad. So yeah, it's from their 2009 hit Miracles, the effing magnets. How do they work? ICP. God bless them. We go to the next one, who is another rapper, J. Cole. And I understand what he's trying to do here. He's trying to let you know he's kind of the shiz. He's kind of the goat. But the way in which he tells everyone, it's not spitting rhymes or album sales.
No.
Well, we'll just let J. Cole tell you exactly how he knows he's the shit, because he keeps clogging the toilet. I do give. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you want to know how I know I'm the S? Because I keep clogging the toilet.
I'm assuming he's saying toilet because he's writing, or he has to say it to it rhymes with the S word. So toilet. Yeah, because I keep clogging up the toilet, not toilet. Toilet. That toilet.
A couple of idiot white guys on YouTube trying to decipher rap. Morons.
Yes, but yes. So I don't think that's accomplishing, once again, what you thought it was. You're just telling me you take big dukes. That's not letting me know that you're the shiz. It just let me know you're regular or use too much toilet paper.
And kind of like Neil Diamond, I wonder if he just wrote that as a placeholder and said, I'll get back to that when I have a better word, and then just never got back to it.
It certainly seems that way.
Mm-hmm.
Although, or his mind was just like, well, I just talked about duty, so I might as well just take it a step further and go right into that.
I suppose.
So, next on this embarrassing lyrics, I just sing the one part of this song I think we all do. It's a party song. It was like on every MTV party to go in the 90s. It's a band called Snap. I Had the Power, but then they had Rhythm is a Dancer.
Mm-hmm.
I say that and you immediately go, oh, rhythm in the. Yeah. I never paid attention to this lyric, but it is awful because the lyric reads, I'm as serious as cancer when I say rhythm is a dancer. No.
You kind of stop partying when that line comes. You go, this isn't fun anymore.
If you pay attention to correct, you're at the rave and you're like, yeah, doing your thing with you got your pacifier and whatever, you're touching the furry wall and you're doing all the stuff with you. And all of a sudden, I'm as serious as cancer. Doesn't the record stop there and go, pardon me? You're bringing down the mood.
I'm just going to go home.
Right. And then you try to save it by saying, I say rhythm is a dancer. Nope, you already lost me.
Yeah,
you already lost me, said, you're as serious as cancer. I don't even want to be in the same vicinity. Then I'm
Not
out.
fun anymore.
I'm out. Snap. And finally, on this particular list, you have to dunk on Nickelback.
The band we love to hate.
Yes, exactly. They were popular, and it was popular to hate on them. They've kind of ironically come back. They still sell out arenas. But we all can agree. You would think that the lyric coming up next is like, look at this photograph.
That's what I thought it
Every
was going
time
to be.
Yeah. No, they're worse.
What
They
the
have worse
hell's
lyrics.
on Joey's head? That's the one that always sticks with me from that song.
Oh, yeah. That right there is Shakespeare compared to this next lyric that comes up there. This is a song called Animals.
Okay.
And it starts with this is the opening salvo of this song that says, I like your pants around your feet. I like the dirt that's on your knees. And I like the way you still say please while you're looking up at me. You're my favorite damn disease. A lot to unpack there, isn't there?
So what is that? That's ABBBA. What I'm trying to. What's the pattern? I like your pants around your
I
feet,
like your
knees,
pants around your feet. Then
please,
there's a
knees,
ching.
please,
I like the
knee,
dirt that's on your knees. Chung.
disease. It's ABBBB. Is
Yeah.
what that is.
Right.
That's not.
Exactly.
That's not a
It's not a
pentameter.
No,
whatever.
it is not. It's a Canadian pentameter, apparently.
I guess so.
But there's
Sorry,
so much to
Krieger.
unpack there of starting off with I like your pants around your feet and then ending with you're my does anyone have a favorite disease? And if they did, would you continue on a conversation or making out with that person and be like, you know what my favorite disease is?
Yeah.
I really like malaria. Malaria is a really good one. That's my favorite disease.
And look at that.
Idiot.
He even spelled favorite Canadian.
He did. He sang it that way too. You're my favorite damn disease, eh?
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
not. And again, yeah, it's all middle-aged women swooning at how handsome he is with his golden locks, and it's like, listen to what he's saying to you. That's not romantic.
No. Between him and Monahan from Train with his untrimmed chest and they're wanting you for their diseases, move on, ladies.
Yeah.
There's better people out there.
I agree.
Follow the legs to the booty if you're going to be like Hootie.
We'll have to do a segment on song lyrics that got past us. I mean, there are so many out there where you go, is that what that? I mean, the Knack comes right to mind with My Sharona, but I mean, it's not the only one. And it's not just embarrassing. It's like, what?
Yeah.
No,
Now
we
that you
can't
know
do
the
that.
lyrics from now you know the lyrics from My Sharona when it's like playing at a party or somewhere and you go, always give it up for the girl. No.
Yeah.
We're not. We shouldn't be playing that right now. Sorry.
And now, it is time for This Week in Slow-Mo. As colleges and high schools are graduating across the country, there's always going to be senior pranks. There's always going to be somebody who's whooping it up at the graduation, and people are always either falling off stage or doing what this person does.
Yeah, so this particular young gentleman is attempting, as you can see, to do a backflip. The only problem is the graduate after him does not give him the ample room to do said backflip.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads to this right here. By the way, can we just say something too very quickly before we play the clip? Does anyone ever listen to please hold your applause to the end? That never works, right?
No.
That just doesn't.
No, and because there's always got to be some parent who makes it about them. Because they're never excited for their kid. It's always like, that's my boy right there. That's me. That's my boy. I did that. And it's just
right. And it's never like you go whoever. You're right. It's like, that's my child. That's my kid. It's like, just be quiet. So this is a high school graduation, and here we go.
All right, we're gonna watch it from 3 different camera angles, and then break it down. Horrible video quality, but it's all we got.
Oh, so in context, once again, he has already received his diploma, or his name has been called. He's walking towards to getting the diploma, and the individual who is calling out the names, it's maybe a very large class, and they're trying to get through as many as possible. So he doesn't take a step far enough away, and immediately she hears her name and comes running up to be like, "Yay!" And then that happens.
Now, he's alleging that he warned her and
Yes.
said, I'm about to do a backflip. Give me some room.
Correct. Now, he apologized and said that he did, in fact, say that. But in the moment, he may have said that, right? He may have said that when we first get in line, because they're sitting there. Graduations take way too long,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the first place. And so he may have told her that beforehand, like, hey, back up. I'm going to do this backflip. Take your time. But in the heat of the moment, when you hear your name called, a majority of people just, I'm going to walk up.
Yeah, and you can see it on her
Because
face in the second clip. I mean, she's excited. She's going for it, and this guy is already in
she's
midair.
looking, yeah, she's looking, because you're right. She doesn't pay attention either.
Well, let's watch it in
Part of it is,
slow-mo.
yeah, part of it is on her.
Part of it's on her? Really?
Yes. Yes. Part of it's on her. Now, I'm not saying
why? You're not watching for somebody doing a backflip in front of you. That's not like looking both ways.
She walks about 5 feet or 5 steps, not even looking what's going on in front of her. She's just staring out into the crowd, doing her thing. You get you get maybe a step to do that, and then you got to focus on what's in front of you.
Because you're not expecting a pair of feet to come hitting you in the head. That's why you're looking away.
Part of it is on him too, because he did not. That you got to get more. If he wasn't going to hit her, he was really dangerously close to that podium to hit who is ever saying the names. If you look at where he has it spaced. Oh, and then she just goes down. By the way, his hat stays on.
Well,
That's
true.
pretty impressive.
This is the angle from the official school video feed. Yeah, she has no idea what's coming at her.
No. She turns right into just a foot right in her face.
Yeah, so what happens here I think is really interesting because she does a wave to her family and then she starts to look forward. So she gets her little moment because her name has just been said. She gets her moment and waves and then looks forward and she's got a pair of Converse right in her head.
Correct. She gets her moment. I never even looked at the background of the person behind. First of all, I never unpacked the background part. I just looked at the students there. That's the best thing to happen at this particular graduation. Look at the guy reading the names, and then he immediately goes, "Well, I don't have time to stop this.
Right.
We got to keep this ship going." And the other guy is like, "Holy damn." Yeah, that person just comes out of nowhere and is like, oh, God. And look at the person next in line, too.
Yeah.
I'll like break down all this reaction.
The last thing you see are her feet come up in the air.
Yes. Oh, damn.
Whoop.
Can we... Oh.
Can we what? You want to zoom in on the...
Yeah, from this angle, if we can, just the girl who's next in line, who now has to try to up the ante of nothing's going to get better than this girl just getting kicked in the face. Now what am I going to do to be remembered in this graduation ceremony?
Yeah, so this is more focused on the background event here.
Yes. Right there. Right there. That is the perfect reaction. That girl's reaction is the two things that make me chuckle the most is I didn't even know there was a person behind the person on the podium who
Mhm.
just kind of moves out and then goes,
Yeah,
and then that girl.
because I think the dude there in front, right there, I believe is the person reading the names. Because the next thing
Correct.
you see him do is go back to his script.
Correct.
He's like, "This calamity has happened. Oh my God, that's the worst thing." And then he says, "All right. So anyway,
Now, time for the next one. Oh, that's the one thing anyone's going to remember from that graduation.
mhm,
I guarantee it. Not who spoke, not who won all the awards, just this particular moment right
yeah,
here.
not the inspiring speeches."
No. Now watch this woman just appear from behind him and go, "Oh my God." And that right there is the perfect reaction. That's
That is
fantastic.
magical.
Yes. Chef's kiss. Can't really
Hmm.
add anything more to that. I mean, that's just
Wait a
amazing.
minute.
Oh, monkey line again.
we we might have something more to add. So let's
Okay.
hang on. Give me a second here to push the right button. Hello,
Go to the
you're
monkey
back
line.
on with Mike and Molson. Hit it.
Okay. Uh, just another typical case as a graduation disgrace. Just trying to do his trick with a typical backflip, but kicked her upside her face.
You know,
uh,
I love you. Just maybe you should have stopped at the other one, but that's all right. That's okay.
no.
No, you thought that was
The
okay?
old college try because it's graduation
Yeah,
day.
that's
It's the old
true.
college try.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got time while you're
Ugh.
waiting on hold to rehearse those things if you want to,
Don't
but you don't have
don't
to.
be don't be yeah don't be Sean Monahan from Train or Chad Kruger from Nickelback and give us embarrassing limericks.
Yeah. I mean, what do we care? We'll put you on regardless.
Yeah,
It's not like
exactly.
we have.
Anybody calls it. No, that. But I appreciate the college try there. I see where you were trying to get to.
I do too. I do
There's
too.
a lot to unpack.
I think we can pick out
Yeah.
where the words are supposed to be.
Yes, definitely. Yes, that one was a graduation for the ages right there, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for joining us as always.
There's probably got to be more. I mean, we're just now starting. I mean, I'm sure that's not going to be the only nonsense.
I will add before we wrap up, speaking of nonsense at graduations, I did have a friend in college who had to promise his parents he wouldn't do a pratfall this time because he did in high school. He was like physical comedy. He loved Jim Carrey, and he would always pratfall in the cafeteria. And
Yeah.
so his fellow classmates were like, "How much money do we have to pool together for when they call your name to you pratfall onto the stage?" And he said, "I'll do it for $100." And he did it. They got him $100. His name got called, and he pratfalled, biffed it face first on the stage. And when he got up, he looked down. His mother was crying,
Oh,
and he's like,
no.
and the fact that he ruined that precious moment. So when we got to college, she's like, I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. I don't want to make her cry again." So,
Well, and everybody
uh,
forgets that everybody else is also sitting in the auditorium going through 400 names, and they're just like, "Can we get to the barbecue and the presents? I just want to get out. Just say the name, and so let's go home and take pictures and eat some food." And it's just like, man, we're just gonna drag this thing out. I don't know, man. We got to figure something. We got to figure out a better way to have graduation. I think.
we need to be random backflips. If you can do one randomly throughout, just to make sure people are still awake and paying attention, you get to kick someone in the face.
But you got to be able to do one.
Right. Yes. You have to be able to land it and keep your hat on.
All right. We appreciate you being here. We will be back again next week, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. And you're always welcome to comment and join us and make up limericks and whatever the hell you want to do. We're just here to give you a break from the real nonsense that's going on in the world with our brand of nonsense.
Correct, with our dumb show here. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate it.